Hey everybody, welcome back to the WWE Marathon. We are on episode 8, which is Raw episode 7. We are starting the show with one of the Headshrinkers, as last week's Raw advertised, in the ring already, and WWE Champion Bret Hart coming to the ring. We finally find out it is Fatu who is the challenger. Fatu will become Rikishi, but it's going to take a while before we get there. We'll see him a few times before we see him as Rikishi in the episodes to come. Rob Bartlett is Elvis tonight. Not just a quick throwaway joke. He is Elvis the entire night. No idea why, but we're going to be seeing it the whole episode. The whole thing in character. Why? Samu at one point comes to ringside. We don't know why he wasn't there to begin with. Well, it's because they wanted to set this up as a surprise. He comes down and interferes behind the ref's back, and then they pull some twin magic for the finish. But it doesn't do any good. All he does is go in there to pin Bret Hart, and then they immediately switch back. He doesn't. He gives Fatu like 10 seconds of a break. That's the only advantage that they get out of doing the twin magic spot. It makes no sense whatsoever. But Bret Hart gets the sharpshooter on Fatu quickly after the twin magic for the win. Then we see a satellite interview, which is clearly a pre-tape with Crush. It's real quick, 10 seconds, but he does an impressive coconut squishing spot. This is what damage my finisher will do. But that leads into Doink's match versus Koko B. Ware. Quick match. Koko B. Ware had long since worn out his welcome. You see at this time period, you see a lot of the guys that late 80s, early, like 90, 91 out of the 90s, were getting pushes, starting to get phased out. Koko B. Ware was one of them. He had the high energy with Owen Hart, but that went nowhere. So this is really all Koko B. Ware is doing at this point, is losing to the stump puller. Then you've got Money Inc. interview. They confirm that they will put the tag team titles on the line against Hogan and Beefcake, the Mega Maniacs, at WrestleMania. WrestleMania 9 at this point is really starting to take shape. This is fourth from WrestleMania. We've got 3 episodes after this before we get there. We're getting close. On the marathon this week, we'll be at WrestleMania. It's so quick because we skipped so many episodes, so many weeks with Raw. It's not an every single week thing like it is now. They get preempted for dog shows. They get preempted for all kinds of things. You go on to the network, and sometimes you'll skip 2 or 3 weeks, but it's still sequential episodes. You're not missing the episodes. They just didn't happen. Then we get Lex Luger versus PJ Walker. PJ Walker is one of the better-known WWE jobbers because he went on to fame later on. First as Aldo Montoya, the Portuguese Man of War, and then more famously as Just Incredible in ECW. In here, he was very much a jobber. It's a real quick match. Lex Luger dominates it. This is shortly after his debut. This is leading up to his big match at WrestleMania. So there's no way he's not looking strong in all this. Bobby Heenan has a phone call during the match where he's putting over Lex Luger. This is a time when you didn't always have the manager come to the ring with the wrestler. Sometimes they would be on the phone hyping him up. Bobby Heenan a lot of times didn't go to the ring because he was on commentary. It was weird to have an active manager as a full-time announcer as well. But in this, he was just doing a phone call for squash match. He does the pinky pin, which I love. I think it's a great arrogant spot, especially when you're just destroying people like Luger was. Going into the commercial break, Vince hypes up the upcoming Steiner brothers match, calling them Rob and Scott. Now, Savage does correct him when they come back. But yeah, it's the Steiners versus Duane and Barry Hardy. Duane is actually Duane Gill, who most people will know, became Gilberg in a couple years. They occasionally wrestled as the Executioners. They were the Lords of Darkness on the Indies. Barry Hardy really didn't do much in the WWE besides a couple matches with Duane Gill. But this was just another squash. It was all squash matches. You'd see that a lot on these early episodes. We didn't really miss much. It was a pretty crappy show. They're trying to feed into the Hogan return a little bit by giving him some promo time, giving the they're trying to feed into the Hogan return a little bit by giving the Money Inc. a little bit of promo time. You'll see that over the next couple episodes that they're really trying to make a big deal out of this Money Inc. match. It's a tag team title match. It's probably the most hyped tag team title match that you'll see for a while. But it's just, there's not a whole lot that goes into these hour-long shows, and no championship matches, no huge names wrestling. It's just, this is what opened up the market for WCW to come out and compete with them later on. You know, this is WWE getting complacent, but this is WWE getting complacent with a 1-hour show. So, there you go. Join us tomorrow for episode 8 of Raw, episode 9 overall, and we will watch another episode. Thank you. There will be a link to the episode on the network in the description below. Love you, Trampions. Cheers.